Okay, I'm going to relay this conversation between the Christian Syrian officer from Division 4 and myself on the telephone. I'm going to give you the conversation on Wednesday, the 11th of December 1st, so it's picking up from where we left off. Just as background, under President Bashar al-Assad, Division 4 was run by his brother, Maher al-Assad, and that was the elite defense force. Just like under Hafiz al-Assad, you had Rifat al-Assad, who ran Syria, the defense force. So with Bashar al-Assad, you had Maher al-Assad, who ran Division 4, the defense force. Okay, so when this order came in to Division 4 to lay down their arms and go home, the Maher wasn't present in the command. The officers, a couple of officers that took the order from Bashar al-Assad, went and spoke to the guy who was in command, the second in command, who was sitting in his library. And the guy said, "I cannot execute this order before talking to General Maher." And what did they do? They shot him dead on the spot. They shot him dead for saying that. "I cannot execute this order before talking to General Maher, before telling General Maher." So he was shot dead. Then an hour passed, or whatever. General Maher heard what had happened, and he immediately issued a command, because he didn't understand what was going on. The president's brother did not understand what was going on. So he said, "Do not obey the orders." He issued a command saying, "Do not obey those orders." It was too late. They'd already obeyed their orders, and they'd already gone home. They'd laid down their arms and gone home. From leading a division of 18,000, he was left with 50 men around him. His elite group of cronies, I guess you'd call them. He was left with 50 men around him. My friend, the officer, describes them as his bodyguard. Anyway, that's not exactly his bodyguard, but his sort of inner force, if you like. So Maher now only has 50 guys left. He decides to leave Damascus and regroup in some way. And he fights his way out of Damascus. He has to fight his way out. And some of the 50 that accompanied him were killed. Maher, the president's brother, was wounded. But he did get out, and history does not relate where he is. Now, my friend, the officer in Division 4, got quite annoyed at this point. He was saying, look, Bashar could not have avoided the situation he got into. It was cooked by several powers. That's how he described it. But he could have hinted so that they could get ready. Your brother, you don't tell your brother? You don't tell your cousin? You don't tell your nieces? Nobody? You tell nobody? He felt that was a betrayal by the president, that he didn't even tell his brother what was going on. So that's one little snippet, one conversation. And I had this officer's permission to share these conversations, as long as I withhold his name. The next conversation was Saturday the 14th of December, this Saturday past. We chatted. He said, "Turkey's nominated an envoy," he said to me, to Syria. And he said the government that's formed have had a conclave and said they're going to follow Hassan al-Banna's ideology. Now, Hassan al-Banna is dead, but he's the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. Well, then he says, Jilani's people are not happy. Jilani is Hizb ut-Tahrir al-Sham, because they are not Muslim Brotherhood. Their ideology is quite different. he has Jelani. This is my friend's talking to me. Jelani has two people in the government. Two ministers in the government. He's retained the Ministry of Defense. Obviously, well, you would, wouldn't you, if you're a military guy? So Jelani's people keep control in that sense, but they're not happy because what does this mean if the government, which they have part of now, saying they follow Hassan al-Banna, means that Syria becomes a Turkish vassal state. Ultimately, there are a number of possible outcomes for Syria. Let's just run through them very quickly. 6 of them really. You could have chaos in Syria. You could have Syria as a Turkish vassal state. You could have Syria as Israeli vassal state. You could have a democracy in Syria. That's 4. You could have Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham rule. That's 5, a kind of dictatorship. And you could have the fragmentation of Syria into mini-states. Very possible. That's 6 options. What we're seeing is the emergence of a Turkish vassal state, according to my friend. He also said the Israeli buffer zone gets bigger every day down in the south, near the Golan. You look at the maps and it just creeps. Iran is flirting with Syria now. Interesting, with the new government. The Russians have virtually got agreement now. Well, they would. It was part of the deal, wasn't it? But virtually got agreement to retain their naval base at Tartus and their air base. So that's inevitable. But I said to them, Israelis have bombed. I said to my friend, the Israelis have bombed the naval base to bits. But he said, no, well, yes, but it's rebuildable. It's not the end of the world. It's a deep water port. So that was what he was saying. Right, switch forward, Tuesday, 17th of December. That's today as I am recording this, although you won't see it till tomorrow probably, or the day after. But anyway, Tuesday, 17th of December is where we are now. Speak to him again. He says there's a public relations... He's very angry today. He says there's a public relations campaign on behalf of this new government, but it's all a lie. The Alawites, the Christians, the Kurds, nobody's reassured. The Druze want to go to Israel, for God's sake. What he means is the Druze militia down towards the Golan are very happy to have a kind of mini-state that's part of Israel or is allied to Israel for the fragmentation of Syria. His words again, I don't think I want to be part of Syria anymore. This is my Syrian Christian general. There are many executions that they, the journalists, do not see. They kill 2 there, 3 here, 2 there, 3 here, little executions. 2 days ago, they went to one of my father's cousins, and they had a lovely conversation with my father's cousin. They chatted to him about ideology, about philosophy, about religion. And the next day, some other bearded people appear, this is my friend's words, and say, we are not Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham. We don't listen to Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham. Come with us. And they took him. They arrested him. I mean, that's, in Syrian terms, that means he's probably dead. Then my friend's talking. Is it a game they're playing? Is it good guys and bad guys? And then he said, the wife of my brother, Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham, I'm just quoting his words as he said them, the wife of my brother, Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham, came and to her house And they said, we're here. We're going to look after the street. We have a car at the end of the street. I'm an officer. I'm in command. Here's my mobile number. You don't have to be afraid. It's a Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham officer. And then, same day, little later in the day, some people came along, militia, soldiers, armed, and said, we are not Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham. Get out of here. We're taking this house. It's ours now. So the woman, she called the number of the officer she'd been given, and Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham came, and they literally had a fight, virtually almost had a fight outside her front door. And the other Islamists went off with their tail between their legs. But as they were leaving, they looked at her when they were leaving and said to her, we are coming back for you. Well, that's what he said to me. So that's pretty frightening. And according to my friend, at the checkpoints in the Alawite villages, they're not being discreet at all. And you can see them saying it on TikTok. They're posting on TikTok. We are here to catch the Alawite pigs. They're posting these videos on TikTok. So it's bothering the minorities in Syria. Is Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham in control? This is the words of the officer speaking to me. Is Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham in control? I don't think so. There is a talk in Damascus that there will be a coup against Jolani. Jolani is the commander of Hizbut Tahrir al-Sham. Everything is interlinked, my friend said. The people in Lebanon are afraid of a Syrian intervention in Lebanon. So it's worrying them to bits. It's worrying them. People in Syria are very worried. People from the minorities are very worried about the present situation, and they're not feeling comfortable at all. Anyway, that's what I have to share with you. I hope it's of some value, and I will try and share more information as I get it from my friend or from elsewhere. God bless you, and thank you for listening. God bless.